Well, well, well. Everybody loves a redemption story. Well, if you love a redemption story, you're going to love George Pickens. Because George Pickens has the opportunity to have one of the greatest redemption stories we've seen in a while. George Pickens is now with the Dallas Cowboys. And boy, I am ecstatic, and Cowboy fans are ecstatic too. But when we understand how George Pickens got here, for a third and a fifth with that kind of talent, there are teams that didn't even want to fool with George Pickens with all that talent. And so the question is, will George Pickens redeem himself in Dallas? Let's talk Cowboys. We're about to talk facts. Welcome, Cowboy fans and Cowboy haters alike. I'm the G, and I'm the host of Let's Talk Cowboys, where we talk facts. And if you like this video, don't forget at the end to please like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you know the next time we go live or post another video. And if you haven't become a subscriber or a channel member, please do. We have a lot of great things coming in the future. Now let's talk facts. George Pickens. George Pickens is only 24 years old. And there are so many people, when it comes to George Pickens and his attitude, I mean, I don't know how else to say it, but people just, they don't want no part of him. Some people are even saying, people like Colin Cowherd, that the Dallas Cowboys may have made a mistake in getting him, and the only way that it works is Dak Prescott. But I believe the reality is, the way this works is George Pickens. George Pickens has to make up his mind of who he wants to be. The only person that can turn around George Pickens is George Pickens. I want you to see the story or what they're talking about now. And if this isn't motivation for George Pickens, Mike Tomlin, according to reports, he's the one that pulled the trigger on letting go of a receiver like George Pickens. Check this out. Shout out to Mike Fisher on Athlon Sports or CowboysCountry.com. Please go subscribe. They have a lot of great articles. Mike Fisher writes, Steelers, Mike Tomlin made final decision to ex George Pickens. Mike Tomlin famously is the one who last year urged George Pickens to grow up, so this Steelers reveal isn't shocking. He goes on to write, the Dallas Cowboys are delighted about adding an elite number 2 receiver in George Pickens. Meanwhile, the Pittsburgh Steelers are relieved. A new report from longtime Steelers writer and Pat McAfee show contributor Mark Kaboly claims that none other than head coach Mike Tomlin is who wanted the talented but temperamental wide or player out of town. Make no mistake about it, Tomlin, who has gone out of his way in the past to defend Pickens, is the one who decided that Pickens' rehabilitation project needed to end a year early. Kaboly writes, the ultimate decision had very little to do with general manager Omar Khan, although he signed off on it too, and of course it was okayed by team owner Art Rooney II. It says, Tomlin famously is the one who last year urged Pickens to grow up, so this isn't shocking. To Pickens' critics, what would be shocking if he gets his act together in Big D? George Pickens, are you hearing this? You have doubters. And there are plenty who don't think you're going to turn this around. They don't think you can be redeemed. It says after an ugly 2-game stretch in 2023, in which he caught only 3 passes for 21 yards, Pickens posted "Free me" on his social media and scrubbed any mentions of the Steelers. He later explained the move had nothing to do with football. Later that year, he was roundly criticized for a lack of effort, specifically not blocking for running back Jaylen Warren near the goal line. Pickens claimed he was trying to avoid injury. He had multiple shouting altercations with fans at games. He's been fined several times for unsportsmanlike conduct, including last year's game against the Cowboys when he violently grabbed the face mask of cornerback Jordan Lewis. And it's funny because Jordan Lewis posted on X, he said God wanted him in Jacksonville. When he saw the fact that the Cowboys had picked up George Pickens. It says, and in week 17, He arrived late for a key game against the Kansas City Chiefs. Said Tomlin about Pickens late last year. He's just got to grow up, man. This is an emotional game. He's got a target on his back because he's George. He understands that, but he's got to grow up. He's got to grow up in a hurry. Tomlin has had his ups and downs with big-name, bad apple receivers, from Martavius Bryant to Antonio Brown to Chase Claypool to Deontay Johnson to George Pickens. Does that mean the coach was keeping them afloat all these years and that Tomlin is a savior here? Maybe. But in this case, Tomlin was also the guy with the axe. Mike Tomlin chose to get rid of George Pickens. And now when you look over here on Nightcap, Shannon Sharpe has another very damning report. Check this out.
Ocho, teams reportedly laughed at the idea of adding George Pickens to their roster, according to Jeff Howe of The Athletic.
They laughed? They laughed.
These were Jeff words exactly. Word leaked during the draft that Pickens was available if anyone wanted him. Some teams polled by The Athletic at the time laughed at the idea of inviting Pickens into their locker room for any price, let alone a second-day draft pick.
This is the reason why the Cowboys didn't take the trade for George Pickens during the draft. I'm sure the Cowboys got wind of this, and they knew they could circle the block and get George Pickens after the draft and not give up the draft capital this year and not be able to pick some of the players that they picked. But this is very damning as it applies to George Pickens. Listen.
There wasn't a lot of interest in talking with the Steelers about a trade. Hence, this is why the trade happened after the draft. No.
Somebody this talented, and nobody even wants to talk about a trade.
Nobody was interested.
I also would love to hear the teams that weren't interested. And the team that did laugh or had something to say slick about it. Now, I know the issues that he had on field, but let's talk about what he does on the field. I know we've had small instances of him where he's loafed, where he hasn't blocked, being late on.
Hadn't run hard.
Running hard. Now, let's talk about the times and when he does play hard and what he can do for you when he gets the ball in his hands. There's a bunch of teams that could actually use that. A bunch of teams that can actually use that, who don't have anybody.
Ocho, you do realize his job is to play hard all the time.
I understand that, but can I tell you something too? Every receiver doesn't play hard all the time.
Ocho, it can't be that obvious.
I know. I'm with you, right? Listen, I'm with you, right? I'm just saying. It's magnified. It's magnified. You know what I'm trying to say. Let me
tell you about Chad Ochocinco. Boy, you gotta love Chad Ochocinco. Chad Ochocinco is obviously mentoring George Pickens. And I appreciate him for that. I mean, you think about everything that Shannon Sharpe is going through. And Ochocinco is still rocking with him when everyone else has turned their back on him. He's still rocking with him. You notice they don't have all the advertisements. You notice they have all the ads covered up. You only see Shannon up in the corner. And Ochocinco, most people are running for the hills. He's still rocking with him. And Ochocinco is a player's player. Well, he's always for the players. He's always trying to help the players. He's always hoping the best for the players. And so I am so glad that he is mentoring. I'm glad he's mentoring George Pickens. And he is making us a guarantee. Let me let you hear this. I'll put the link to this entire video down here in the description so you can watch it in its entirety. But this is the reason why I believe that George Pickens is going to be one of the greatest redemption stories of this season. Listen to Ochocinco and Shannon Sharpe.
You have to find other ways to bring value and to have value other than the thing that you think is valuable, which is catching passes and catching touchdowns. But I hope he gets it figured out because I do think he's immensely talented. I think he has a bright future, but don't squander this opportunity, young man. Don't squander it.
I told you. I got him. He good. We done had the conversation. Okay. That's why after that conversation I told you I had with him, we ain't had no issues since. Now, whatever the feeling.
They ain't played no football since.
My point exactly. My point exactly. So what you think we...
He ain't have no problems off the field. His all problems
Hold
on the
on,
field.
listen to me. Stay with me real quick now.
Boy, they
I want you to see.
tripping.
Now watch the George Pickens we get in Dallas.
That'll kill him.
I'm saying
Yeah.
we, because if he went to Dallas, I'm part of Dallas too. Now watch what we get.
Okay.
So anytime he make a mistake, everybody makes sure you come back and you blame me. It's my fault. I let y'all down.
We're going to hold you to that.
No, I mean, I don't care about. Look, you're gonna make mistakes, but I'm just
I
saying
know
that
what you
effort.
mean. I don't even
Because
talk about that. I'm talking about that. I'm talking
Yeah.
about that too. All of it.
Yeah.
Shout out to Chad Ochocinco and Shannon Sharpe, man. They are such a good odd couple. They really are call it the odd couple, but they are a great show together. But again, I'm just, I just love the fact that the Cowboys not only got George Pickens for his talent, but with the culture, again, the Cowboys are building. I think George Pickens is going to be a good addition because George Pickens is somebody that needs to be redeemed. I think he needs to be redeemed. And sometimes redemption isn't about a person, or sometimes when we talk about bad people, sometimes they're not just bad people. Sometimes they're immature. He was 22, 23, now he's 24. He's on a team where they're defense first, run second. The passing game is just an afterthought. Played with Mitchell Trubisky, Kenny Pickett, Russell Wilson out of his prime, Justin Fields can't find himself. I mean, when you think about what this guy's been playing with, it's not an excuse for the behavior. But he has to learn how to handle those things. And I do believe with Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, Michael Parsons, Brian Schottenheimer, that whole crew, the whole organization, they're going to show George Pickens they want him. I think they're going to really make him a big part of the offense. And he's going to be one of the main reasons why they're winning. And I think him and CeeDee Lamb are the perfect wide receiver combo to be playing together. And again, will George Pickens be able to redeem himself? I believe he will. I believe he will. But it doesn't matter what I believe. It doesn't matter what you believe. It matters what George Pickens believes. Will George Pickens choose to be redeemed and choose to be the player not only on the field, but on the sidelines that he knows he can be? Man, I'm excited for this Cowboys season. I'm excited. I mean, it's great to report the news. It's great to be reporting players, but I'm ready to start reporting on games. I'm just praying for nothing but greatness in this young man's life, praying for him to be all that he can be in the Lord and in football and in society. Again, y'all tell me what you think about this story with George Pickens, man. This is crazy. This is crazy. But I tell you what, God don't make mistakes. I'm glad he's with the Cowboys. Y'all tell me what you think in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Until the next time, let's talk Cowboys. Peace.